Okay, just want to welcome everyone to another episode of RG22 Outdoor Adventures. So the first color I'm going to do is going to be a wicked black. Let's do some spraying. Okay, so there we go. I've got the sides all done, and basically the sides I wanted black, but I chose to do the whole thing. Now it's going to be time to start working on the scales and wicked metallic silver. There we go. Not too shabby. Okay, let's do the other side. Going to dry that off and do our scale reveal. I think it's time to unveil some scales. You guys ready? Let's open this bad boy up. Here we go. Okay, and there's our scales. Pretty good. I like that. Not very defined, but it'll work. Alright, so I made a template here that we're going to put on some tape, draw it out, cut the pattern out twice, put that pattern across the lure like so, and then we're going to paint over all of that, and the scales will just show up in here, and this will be our regular color. Okay? Alright, so we're going to get started on that right now. Alright, so the next color that I'm going to use is going to be a wicked opaque white, and we're going to cover the entire lure in that. Okay, so let's get that done. So wicked opaque white. Okay, so the next color is going to be a fluorescent raspberry, and I'm just going to take that right down the back, but I want it really, really thin, and then we'll probably put some scales on it. So this is going to be really thin and really light coat. Okay, so the next step on this is Wicked Pearl White over all of this, over the entire lure. And it is cold in here. Damn. 17 degrees outside, maybe colder. Okay, here we go. And this should tone this down a lot, hopefully. There we go. Yep. Okay. Let's get that dried off, and we're going to keep moving on this one. This is going to be a lot of coats, so I think I'll probably show you when it's all done. Alright, well, I've got some color shift paint here that we're going to use for the scales. Now keep in mind, unfortunately I thought I was recording, but I wasn't, so I did that color shift, and here we go. I'm going to get this dried off. We're going to unveil the scales, and then we'll get started on the head. Okay, scale unveil time. Okay, here we go. Well, we made the scales a little too strong, but that's okay. Well, let's see, hopefully we don't pull any paint off. Alright. Excellent. I like it. I like that. You can see the color shift in it. The pearl. That looks really good. Okay. Now, I'm going to unveil that lateral line. There we go. Look at that. Wow, that is really cool. I really like that. This is going to be one awesome lure. I can't wait to use this. Okay, time to start working on the head. This is all going to be white. So wicked opaque white we're going to put on the head. Let's dry that off, and then we're going to continue working on this head with this color shift paint. Alright, here we go. Color shifting paint that we used on the scales, we're going to use right across the head and try to get it really light. I just want that, just a hint of that color shift to come out. That's all I want. Well, I guess we're going to put it on pretty heavy, because I barely see it. Let's do that. Okay, I can kind of see it a little bit. I don't know if you guys can. Maybe if I do that. I can kind of see the color shift a little bit. But we're going to get this finished up. Okay, so there we go. We've got the head finished on this side. I just got to put some red accents here and some like bloody gills or whatever. But that's the head there so far. Now it's time to do the other side. Okay? So when I get that done, I'll show you how it looks on both ends. And yeah, and we'll keep going. We'll get the eyes and keep moving forwards. I'm getting pretty pumped up. All right, folks. We're going to move on and we're going to get this other side completed. Okay, time to do the red accents on the gills. Let's get that real quick with some red paint. Very light on the trigger. There we go. Pretty good. And do it the same exact way. Really light on the trigger. There we go. Okay, now let's do our red all the way down, like we've done on every other lure. Like so, and then a little red dot. Okay, we're not done yet. We have a ways to go. We got to do the eyes, and I got to put some fins on it. All right, let's work on some fins here. First is our Wicked Opaque White. Go very, very light on this fin here. See, we still want that to show through, but we want that white to actually give us a fin too. So that's what we're doing right now. Okay, here we go. We're just going to use some silver, and I'm just going to try to shade that up. Okay, and that's what we're going to do. So we're just going to do a little bit of shading here. There we go. Let's get that dried off, and then we'll draw our rays. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. There's our rays. Now it's time to put some black, and we'll shade that off and make our border. Just a couple drops of our Wicked Black. And all I want to do is do a little bit of shading. That's all we're doing. Very light. Now we're going to come up. There, just like that. Bring it down the sides. There we go. We'll see how that looks. There we go. Look at that. That looks awesome. I like that. And it goes right along with the theme of the lure. So we'll do the other side, and then I'll show you guys when it's all done. All right, so let's get started on these eyes. And I think the first color I'm going to use is going to be this Wicked Metallic Silver. And these are just a Mylar sheet that I use a 3/8 punch on and just punched out some eyes, and we're going to get that painted. Here we go. And then I think the next color I'm going to use is going to be that color shift. And then we'll put the pupils in, and we'll get them glued in, and then we'll call that done. But that's going to look pretty good. I'm really liking this. And now it's time to put on our color shift. Okay, so that's color shift that we used a while back on the scales and the head. We just need a little bit because we are going to spray it on these eyes. There we go. Okay, so for the pupils, I'm just going to mark the middle so I know exactly where to go. That gives me a reference. Then we're going to go back to this Wicked Black. And I have a little template that I use for my pupils. And we're going to try to find that middle right there. Okay. And then we're going to give it a spray. Very light. And slowly building up. There we go. All done. And let that take it off carefully. And there we go. And there's our eye. Do the same thing. We're going to let that dry for a minute. Another one. Okay. And there we go. There's our eyes. Let's get those dried, and then we will super glue those into our eye sockets. All right. So let's get these glued on. There we go. Okay. Okay. Let's get that part off there. And it's just going to get placed into the socket, just like so. Okay. Pupil, slide it in nice and gently, just like that. Okay, I'm going to let that super glue set. There we go. Okay, now we're going to put the glass in. The glass, as you've seen, I bought these off of Amazon a long time ago. Comes in packs of I think 100 or 200 or something like that, so will probably last you years and years and years like they've done me. Okay, if I had 5-minute epoxy, I would use 5-minute epoxy, but I'm going to use some super glue. I'm going to do enough to just get enough for a squeeze out, and we're going to hold it there, just like that. We'll squeeze some of that super glue out. There we go. Okay. Let's do the other side. Put some super glue in there. Okay. Let's get a little bit of squeeze out. Let's hold it there. There we go. All right, so the last thing to do, we're going to put a little bit of white there, and then we got to sign it. Get all of this tape off the lip, and then I'll get this epoxied in the morning. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. I'm really happy with it. There we go. So let's take the tape off and let's show you guys what this looks like, because I am pretty pumped up about this. I can't wait to get the epoxy on. Now the fun part, taking all this off. Okay, so there is what the lure looks like before the epoxy. All right, let's mix some epoxy. Okay, 5.8 grams, okay. Now we're going to mix it, but before I do that, I'm going to heat it up so it mixes a lot easier. And we're going to mix it for a little bit. This is kind of cold. I want it to be warm because I want it to spread. Okay, here we go. Tell you what, this cold is a killer on this epoxy. Okay, I'm going to go put this on rotisserie, and yeah, we'll be right back.